It happens to all of us at one time or another. Something goes wrong at work, and your first instinct is to quit. Maybe you got passed over for a promotion, or you just got tired of that bossy client, and maybe it's even your boss. So you think leaving is the best option. But I spoke with two different women this month who shared their stories of how they came very close to quitting, but ended up staying and improving their entire situations. So I want to make the case for embracing the power you have so you can stay and thrive at work in a bigger and better way. Hi, this is Diana Burnell. I'm a career strategist helping Latina professionals reach their goals. And there can be real benefits to staying instead of looking for a new job. So today I want to talk about how to make sure you make staying work for you and the steps you can do to strengthen your options. Let's jump in. Okay, now a few disclaimers. If your work environment is toxic, then that's a different story. Or maybe you have been there so long that you know there are no more opportunities for you, and leaving is the best option. So, there are two previous episodes you might want to check out: 411 on how to know if it's time for a new job, and 413 on using your values to drive your career decisions. But for today, I really want to remind you of the upsides of staying and the great value that you bring to your company. Because as a former manager, and you may know this too, turnover is so expensive. So, as an employee, you have leverage, regardless of the layoffs that you might hear about or the other people who are out there searching. We know that good people are always hard to find. And your boss would rather not deal with interviewing, finding candidates, onboarding, and never really knowing if that person is going to work out. You have more power than you think. So, before you decide to leave, remind yourself of all your accomplishments and that added value that you bring to the company. Because we underestimate the value of our institutional knowledge. So, let's see if staying can be a strategic career move for you. First step, let's really identify the problem. Is it short term or long term? Is it your boss or a coworker? Is it really the work that you do? Or is this a seasonal thing that this is a real crunch time for you? Pinpointing the real problem is the first place to start. So you can figure out if it is fixable, especially if your gut tells you that you may not be, quite frankly, in the mood to hunt for a new job right now. So, step two is asking yourself, can I change this? Can they move me to a different department? Can I get put on to a new project? And if it is perks or pay or remote benefits, you can ask for those things. But don't forget, too often when we quit, it's not just about money. It's the culture, it's management, it's the nature of the work. The root cause is often more than just money, which brings me to the third step: to ask. Now, that brings me to one of my examples today. I met this woman who told me the story of how she was frustrated for being passed over for a promotion. She was ready to quit. But instead of talking to her boss, she shared with a different director. And that other director knew her value. And she said, hold on, don't go anywhere. So within a week, she helped change this person's reporting relationship. So now my friend reported to this director. It ended up being a terrific move. She loved working for her, best boss she's ever had, and she is still at that same company where she is now a director. But we wouldn't have known had she just given notice and left. She shared with someone. And a real takeaway here is to make sure that you have a strong relationship with your boss and other senior leaders so that you can have these conversations. You want an honest, productive dialogue with your boss or someone in leadership who can affect change and really go to bat for you. And let's face it, if it really is about money, okay, go ahead and let's ask for more money. Schedule a time, talk to your boss, prepare for that conversation, and outline the ways that you have mastered your job and you have some added value here. Now, a lot of times people say that they're afraid to ask for things, but at this point, What do you have to lose if you were thinking of quitting anyway? Now, let's look at some of the upsides. The upside is that they hear you and they make a change, and maybe you get a better job without having to interview. Think of how great you'll feel knowing that the company actually met your request. You'll be able to try some new skills or work with some different people to see if this new scenario makes a difference. And maybe you will get that bump in pay or a different title or exposure to a new division, something that can also enhance your resume. And that extra year or two can give you a longer track record, which recruiters love, especially if you already have a jumpy resume or maybe you're more junior in your career. If your resume has a lot of 2 years, 18 months here and there, you might want to think about how you can make sure that this next stint is a little bit longer. Because at some point, employers like to see that at one point or another, you have spent at least 4 to 5 years at one company. Now, another upside, honestly, is stress. If indeed staying for another year or two at your current company can bring you some value and avoid the stress and anxiety of job hunting and starting a new job, maybe that's what you need at this moment. The anxiety that comes with hunting for a job and finding time to interview. And then once you get that new job, think of navigating a new company, the culture, the systems. Maybe one more year gives you less stress during a very busy time in your personal life. So I see this a lot with families who are getting ready to send their kids off to college or they're trying to just finish high school. And I certainly remember that feeling of getting my senior daughter through high school. But then it's time to take the leap. So once you get through that personal milestone, don't forget to reevaluate your situation. So just take a moment to think, what else is happening in my life that maybe it makes sense for me to stay for another year? What else can I get from it? Maybe it's even in this 6 months. Maybe you don't even want a job search during the holidays. I get it. The other thing to think about, the grass is not always greener. A new job, it brings new office politics, new clashes. It brings new opportunities and challenges, but you have to prove yourself all over again. And even if a friend or a colleague says, "Oh, that's such a great place to work, you should go there," it might be great for them, but how do you know if it's great for you? So, this brings me to example number two of another friend I spoke to recently. Now, she survived a company layoff, but she didn't know what was going to happen. She could have easily just packed up and found another job. But she decided to wait for a few months just to see how it was unfolding. And sure enough, after 3 months, she got assigned to a department that was booming, by the way, and they love her. And now she's building that career compared to starting over yet again, and she would have been a lot more jumpier. So once you've thought this through and maybe you spoke to your boss and you've gotten some changes and you've decided, okay, I'm going to stay for another year, how can you show up more energized, more engaged? Is there an ERG that you can get involved with, or maybe you can start one? Are there people for you to mentor, or are there some other ways for you to get just a little more engaged at work so you have a more positive experience while you wait out this next phase? So again, if you do know it's time for something new, start making that plan. But if there is value in staying, make sure you demonstrate your value. Get what you need so that you can get the most out of staying at this season in your life. Now, I want to hear how it worked. Let me know if you ended up staying, if that was the right solution for you and what happened. You can message me with a review or on LinkedIn, but I want to hear what worked for you. And I want to hear what other topics you want us to cover. Thanks for checking in. I'll see you next week. Thank you for listening. For more, visit cornerofficelatinas.com, where we give you the framework, inspiration, and support you need to reach and thrive in the corner office. We have some free downloads on the website, where you can also sign up for our e-news, so we can keep you posted on workshops and events coming up that you will not want to miss. That's cornerofficelatinas.com. See you next week.